Hey there, Michael Scott here. This video is going to be a lot to take in, that's what she said. So just pay attention and get to the end. I love you, thanks for clicking on this video. Thanks again for tuning in. This is the official Dwight, How to Draw Dwight from The Office, Part 2. Alright, this is version 2 of How to Draw Dwight because, let's be honest, in the first one I didn't really talk in it, but a lot of you liked that a lot, so here we go. Second time I'm going to tell you what I'm doing basically. So Dwight, naturally, he's got a pretty blocky head, so that's why when I'm drawing Dwight I like to just do a lot of straight lines. I like to do boxy features because, the end result isn't going to be that blocky, but it will become more smooth over time, but it starts out blocky. That's my point, is generally Dwight has a blocky face, so I like to give whatever vibe the person has, no matter what. If I'm drawing like a girl that's got really curvy, facial features, I'm gonna do a lot more circles and flowiness, and so I'm just defining everything. And you don't see my head moving at this point, but guys, I guarantee that you don't look at your reference enough, because that was my mistake when I was beginning. I just would get too lost looking at the paper and totally just forget that I have to look at the reference too. So in real time, my head is swapping between the paper and my reference, like literally looking back and forth every other second, or every other 2 seconds. It's that often because it's that important. Like, if you like these beginning stages, the only thing I'm trying to do is get the shapes in the right place. I'm not trying to define the features at all. Right now, I'm just trying to get the correct place. Like, okay, I'm defining a little bit of the features, like placing it barely, like I'm just hinting at where things should go. Like, the nose is not where it needs to be. I mean, the placement is correct, but it's not shaded like it needs to be. And the shading really shouldn't start until you got everything mapped out. That's a big problem I see, is the people want to just jump right into the details of the drawing, but they don't place everything out right away, and I get that it's kind of like I'm impatient. I want to just start doing the details, but I have to place everything out first. Like when a construction site is building a building, that's funny, right? Building a building, they build the foundation, they build the structure first. That's what we're doing here. We're building the structure of the face, and Dwight's face has a very boxy structure. So make sure that when you're drawing Dwight, use a lot of straight lines. You can see his jaw looks like a box. His head is more boxy than it is rounded. And when you're just laying out the structure, be very light with your pencil. I'm using a medium charcoal pencil right here, but I just want you to be very light with it in the initial stages, because the heavier you go, the harder it is to erase, and we all know that. So make sure that you got everything exactly where you want it before you start doing it, before you start shading the features. And this goes for every face, this goes for every eye that you're going to draw, but just make sure that you have the correct components. So what are the correct components? You got the corner of the eye, that's going to have like a little almond shape. Actually, the entire eye will have the almond shape. But you know how an almond looks, it kind of gets skinnier towards one of the ends. Then you're going to have the eyelid over top of the eye. And the last component you'll need is the waterline. And if you don't have these, it's not going to look like a real eye. It's going to look pretty 2D. And the goal is to make it look 3D. That's also why you need to shade the corners of the eyes. That's another big misconception, is that eyes should just be white all the time, but as a matter of fact, eyes exist in the 3D dimension as well as everything else. So that's why it's important to shade the corners so that it's actually like a sphere, because that's what eyes are. I'm just shading the underside of his eyes, and he kind of looks like a zombie at this point. And I'll admit that this drawing is not the best it could have been. He does slightly look like an alien, at least right now. He does a lot. But, you know, I'm just shading, casually shading. For the pupils, I did like a kind of a crescent shape, like a moon, because I'm leaving room for the highlight. The highlight is also very important to give it that glossy look. You don't want to, there's certain things you can do just to make things pop. Like highlights especially go a long way in making things pop. You can see my shading is only on the underside of things. You can see the bottom of the nose shaded. The top lip, it's angled down, which means that light is not hitting there, which means that it's shaded. You can see under his lip, under his bottom lip, shaded. Under his brow bones, shaded. So if you really want to get some more info on where exactly you need to shade when you're drawing the face, type in Loomis. That's Loomis. And what that's going to show you is a mapped out version of the human head all around. It's kind of like those 3D game character design softwares where it shows every plane of the face as like a polygon. So, you know, if you really want to simplify art, just think of it in shapes. Everything is a shape. If you want to take the head, for example, it's a big oval rectangle thing. The nose is kind of triangular. The lips is, you know, they're kind of like another oval. And, you know, you get the point. On his neck, it's going to be the most shaded out of all because it is not protruding as far as his face does. And you don't want to give that illusion that his neck and his face are the same distance from the camera, because that would be weird. No one really is like that. But, you know, just gentle shading under the hair. You don't want to go too heavy. And occasionally I'll smudge it with my finger if it got too heavy. And I like to use charcoal pencil because it really shows up well on camera and it just looks nice. You can get those deep values without needing to switch pencils, and it doesn't have that shiny look that graphite does. So just keep shading. Most of his face is going to have shading, so you know, you want to leave the white parts for the really white, you know, the highlighted areas. Like I even shaded the top. I even shaded his bottom lip, which doesn't really deserve that much shading, but it is a darker color than, say, his forehead, you know. And you see I just shaded more under his brow bone. That is probably going to be the biggest drop off on the face, right under that brow bone. But yeah, guys, it looks like we're coming to a close. So if you enjoyed this video, I just want to say thank you for watching. The next video I'm coming out with probably will be the coloring of Dwight Schrute. So thanks for watching. I hope you could gather a lot of tips, and I'll see you in the next video. Please like, share, and subscribe. Peace out.